Coming to you live. And I believe this is the 18th of July, Friday night, somewhere around 8:30 or so, something like that. And will wait just 30 seconds or so for a few folks to get on, but we won't belabor that. And we just got home not long ago. Been to the studio today, been in Missouri, Illinois, and just going to give you part six tonight. All right, hang on just a second. And it is thundering outside here, down below Owensboro, Kentucky, where we are. And all right, everybody hear me okay? Hopefully. Um, all right. Ready to begin. We gave you, this is part six. We talked about in part one, we talked about he telleth the end from the beginning. We went back to the book of Genesis and we learned some amazing things there, didn't we? And we got New York, upstate New York, listening in tonight. Scooter. Minnesota is here. And there's Mississippi on tonight. So who knows who else is lurking out there? Um, so we talked about all the things we learned by going back to the beginning. Not all of them, but I mean some of them. We got Ohio here. Well, we got a lot of variety of the states here tonight. And so we talked about what day of the week creation began. You say, what does it matter? It matters because whatever day creation was is where this is going to end. If it's a perfect 6,000 years Earth, um, it has to end where it began, right? And then, of course, same thing with the Kingdom Age. I believe the Bible teaches a 6,000 year Earth, 6,000 year universe, 7,000 including the Kingdom Age. And I believe it's going to be right to the second. I believe God's a God of order. We talked about that, 6,000 years. We talked about the fact that creation was most likely on Tishri 1, the new moon in the fall. Um, so when the moon was created, I believe on day four, it was already 4 days old. If the cycles were the same then, and we think they were, but you don't know. And but it would be day four in the cycle of the moon. We talked about some other things there. We talked part two. We talked about the 25-20 scenario. Part three, we talked about the wedding feast and some things about the Jewish wedding that are going to fit and be what happens at the rapture. It's Christ coming to get his bride and taking her to the marriage supper at the Father's house. Um, then we talked about God's prophetic calendar, the seven feasts of the Lord, and very important. And the first four feasts are already fulfilled right to the day. The next feast on the prophetic calendar is trumpets, the rapture. And then last time we talked about the two candlesticks, Moses and Elijah, Matthew 17, very important. And very prophetic. It says, after 6 days, he taketh Peter, James, and John up. After 6,000 years, 6 days, 6,000 years, the rapture. Two men come down, Elijah and Moses. They're named for us. You don't have to wonder who the two witnesses are. They're named right there. All right, so that brings us to tonight. Very, very briefly tonight, let me say this. Tonight's piece of the puzzle is what year Jesus died. There's all kinds of guesses out there. I've heard 27 AD, I've heard 29, I've heard 30 AD, 31, 32, 33. I even remember a 37 AD that somebody had mentioned some time back. But so why does that matter, you ask? Because if the church age is 2,000 years, and I believe it is, then when the church age started is important. What year it was, because it's 2,000 years later. By the way, the 2,000 years ends, I believe, not at the rapture. I believe that happens in the 1900 and the 1993, 1993rd year. I believe the 7 years of the end of the church age. I believe we're gonna have be at the marriage supper for that, and the Jews will be having their 70th week during that. So, and I think we talked about that, right? The three clocks, the 6,000 year clock is ticking right there. The 70th week of Daniel clock begins ticking, and the final 7 years of the church age at the marriage supper begins ticking. And they all end at the same place, Day of Atonement, Christ coming back on the white horse with his wife. The wife has made herself ready, Revelation 19. That's the end of the ceremony. He brings his wife to their new home down here of the kingdom age. Okay, so what year was it? We know what day it was. We know what time of day it was. We pretty sure we know what month it was. But what year? Now, I don't mean, I'm talking about creation now. We know that. Now the question is, what year did Jesus die? Because we have to go from that 2,000 years into the future, or 1993 years in the future, should be the summoning of the bride to the marriage supper. And it's going to last 7 years. That will finish off the 2,000 year clock. All right. Um, I don't believe it's 26 AD. If it was, then there's not enough time. Next year would be the 2,000th year. Now it's possible. It's possible that we're wrong about the marriage supper. Maybe we finish out the 2,000 years of the church age and then go to the marriage supper. But I don't think so, because at the marriage supper we're not the bride yet. We're still the church, which is the espoused bride. We're not the wife until the end of the ceremony. That's what I believe. So a lot of people believe 32 or 33, somewhere in there. And we're going to do. I have not pinned this down yet myself. I'm going to work on it. I haven't yet. I don't know why I keep putting it off. Um, I'm going to tackle that. I'm going to try to figure this out. And I'm going to try to give you my best guess on what year Jesus died. And uh, and then I'm going to shoot you a curveball, because I believe the real test is not when Jesus died, but when Stephen died. I believe that's where, now the ceremonial law ended. The veil is rent in two at the end of the when Jesus dies on the cross. But that's not the end of the sabbatical cycle. The 69th week does not end on Passover. It ends on Feast of Trumpets. Okay, so I believe that Stephen died at that day and at that moment. And I believe the clock stopped there. And I believe the church age clock began on Feast of Trumpets, 32 AD, 33 AD, whatever it is. And when the rapture happens, that clock will restart as if it had never stopped. Won't lose a second. And God will finish off that 7 year period with us at the marriage supper, and with the Jews in the middle of what? Tribulation. And the 70th week will take place. Okay? All right. So I know I haven't officially given you my thoughts on what the year was, because I have not firmly decided that for myself yet, but I'm working on it. But it sure looks to me like it was 32 AD, because of what I'm going to share with you in the coming future when I share my thoughts. I'm giving you all the puzzle pieces. And then when we get done with that, I'm going to put it all together and show you what it all means with a PowerPoint presentation. So, all right. Okay, we had a good time at the studio today. We did a show about almost had it, a replacement theology. I don't know why that left me there. Replacement theology. Replacement theology is the doctrine or the belief that the church has replaced Israel. The promises made to Israel are now the churches. I believe that that is a lie. And we did a show on that today, Doc and I, and you'll get to hear that in the near future. And you'll get to watch that on television or on YouTube, whatever, however you watch. And we'll give you our thoughts on why we believe Israel still exists, still has a part to play, a big part to play, and that the promises made to Israel are still valid, and that we have not replaced them. Okay, and we'll so you'll get to watch that. All right, let's see. All right, Van must be answering somebody. Daniel 9:26a, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. You have to add the 62 weeks to the 7 weeks, 49 years, which by the way is a jubilee cycle. Almost, 50th year, right, is the jubilee. And by the way, Messiah being cut off is a farming term. It has to do with cutting out the sheep for Passover. Messiah was cut off, and it's really the 10th of Nisan when the lamb is cut out of the flock and is watched for 4 days and then killed on Passover. What else we got here? New York, Minnesota, Mississippi, Ohio. Um, let's see. And then Van is up in Pennsylvania. Um, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off here. We kept this under 15 minutes. Look at that. We're just coming up right now. It's gonna be about 13 minutes. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Feel free to comment. Share this on your social media pages. And there's Esther from Illinois. We were in Illinois today. In fact, we were there the last 2 days. And then somebody posted something here. Let me see if I can get it. All right. Van V Dub, I had texted you about the Nova that is expected to appear um, in the Celestial Crown constellation this year in the fall. I'm not sure that means anything. And I thought I answered you, but I may not have. It's not my thing. I'm not saying it doesn't mean nothing. Everything seems to mean something, but it's not my area. It's not my thing. I have not looked at that. Um, I'd be happy to read something on it if you got a link that you can put in the comments or something, and be glad to go and look at. But I have not. I haven't even heard of that. Um, let's see. O'Shea is here. Um, so I have not looked at that Nova that you're talking about, and to see if it means anything. So I don't have anything on that. I'm sorry. Um, let's see what else we got here. All of a sudden, we're getting ready to end, and everybody's talking. Everybody's posting. So I think I said a while back that these posts that we're putting up. Let's see. Next time you're in Illinois, let me know. Where at in Illinois are you, Esther? Um, let me see. Let me see where exactly you are. Um, let's see. We were in our studios in Raleigh. It's near Harrisburg. We're in Southern Illinois. Um, so yeah, Esther, if you're anywhere near, we'd love to. Gospel and Stars by Joseph Stees or Sace or Sice. Um, and I believe I have that, or I believe I have watched that. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's quite interesting. And all right, waiting to hear back from Esther on here. Let's see, Huntley. Huntley now isn't Elgin up north, northern Illinois somewhere? Uh, I don't think that's southern Illinois, so we'd be quite a ways from there. We're way down, 45 minutes from Marion. We're pretty close to the Missouri line down there. Um, Kentucky's right across from us there. In fact, from the studio, I think I'm a half hour to Kentucky. And so, all right. Well, we go there often, and I don't know where Huntley is. So, but I think Elgin is northern Illinois, isn't it? If it is, you'd be quite a few hours from our studio. You can look it up. Raleigh is where the studio is. 350 people in town. Harrisburg is like 10 minutes away. We had breakfast there. Um, Marion's 40 minutes, probably 45. I don't know. That's the Southern Illinois where the studio is. So take a look and see if that's anywhere near. And when you get to Pennsylvania, Kentucky, let me know. Of course, we were just in Pennsylvania. We went to Maine and back, but we didn't come the route where we come up. We didn't go across the 80, I don't believe. Um, I'm trying to think what we did, but um, all right. Well, on that note, I'll get off of here. And thanks for watching. And we'll try to get back on tomorrow night and keep this rolling. All right. Until next time, keep your eyes on them skies.